right, let's go to Monica in Richmond, Indiana. What's up, Monica?
Hey, John. How's it going?
Outstanding. How about you?
I'm all right.
I'm all right. Let's do this. What's up?
Okay, so I'm having issues getting my husband to open up to me. He's got some mental health issues, a lot of quote-unquote demons that he's trying to work through.
Okay.
And I know there's something troubling him, but he's just not wanting to open up and talk to me.
Cool. Thanks for sharing that. So, how long have y'all been married?
It'll be 2 years in August.
Okay.
But we've been together for 5.
Okay. And when you say mental health issues or challenges, tell me what you're talking about.
He's got some ADHD, he's got anxiety, and bipolar depression.
Okay. What's bipolar depression?
Where he will, his days are really good, but then his bad days are bad.
But he's not diagnosed bipolar.
Bipolar, no.
Okay.
It's just the depression has good days and then really bad days.
Okay. What's a really bad day look like?
Where he just clams up. He uses his phone, like social media, as a coping mechanism where he will just scroll and not talk to anybody, not want to do anything, not want to get up from the bed or the couch. Okay. He just stares at his phone.
Just goes in the hole, huh?
Yes.
And what set this off?
It varies all the time. It can be something minor, like, hey, when I ask him, take out the trash, or can you take out the trash? And other times it's his job. Sometimes it's a conversation with one of his family members. It's just all over the place.
Was he doing this before y'all were married?
It wasn't as bad. It's gotten so much worse over the last 5 years.
And you don't know, has he been doing this his whole life? Or is this last 5 years or 6 years?
The diagnosis came, well, he's had ADHD since I've ever known him.
Yeah.
And we went to high school together. And but the anxiety and depression has been diagnosed over the last, I'd say, 3 to 4 years.
Okay. So, two tracks I want to take here. First track is talk to you. Okay.
Okay.
I can't think of a more devastating loneliness than loving somebody so much and them hurting, and they don't tell you how or why they're hurting. And it's like you're standing over a cave just saying, hey, will you grab my hand? And they're saying no. Right? And at some point, you toggle back and forth between being really pissed off, just grab my hand. What are you doing? And then you also, if you're like most normal humans, maybe not you, you spend a season I must be putting my hand in wrong, right? It's almost this gaslighting that's not words, but it's in a response to actions. Like, I must be my fault. If I just knew the right way to reach down there and grab them, then I could help out, right? And it feels so lonely. Is that ring a bell at all?
A little bit, yes. And I was like, I know there's some way I can help him.
Okay.
I'm a fixer.
Yes.
But I know I can't fix everybody, but I want to help as much as I can.
Yeah. Whew. Okay. So this is especially fun for fixers, right?
Yes.
So the most important thing you can know is that him not talking to you, him not opening up with you, him not being transparent with you isn't about you. And fixers really struggle with that. Because in their mind, everything is about them, and they can just solve pretty much any problem if you'll just let me see all the parts to it. I'll put the puzzle together. I just need all the pieces.
Well, I've learned that I can't do that. So I've learned to kind of tote it back, but I'm still, it's still hard for me.
Well, and here's the thing. Your head knows that, but your heart doesn't.
Right.
And so what you are going to start doing is you're going to start getting anxious. And you're going to start, like anxiety and depression are on the same trend line, right? I don't like them even as two different diagnostics because they just work together so closely. And so you are going to begin to find yourself, if you haven't already, being super frustrated, and you start just scrolling, or you just start checking out, or you'll find yourself there because there's a disconnect between what you know in your head, this isn't about me, and your body is looking at this person you love, completely shutting everybody else out, right? And that begins to wear on your soul, right? So here's one or two things you can do as a fixer that's not going to make you feel good as a fixer, but it's the best you can get, okay?
Okay.
And I want you to think of his life in a series, and I got this from Emily Nagoski, from a series of ons and offs. Because people who have deep anxiety, people are struggling with depression, it's a physical safety issue most of the time. So there is something in his head, something in his body that is saying, you are not safe right now. You are not, something about his ecosystem is saying, you're out of control. You don't know what's coming next. You're disconnected. And so what folks do is they pick up their phone and stare at it, right? They go have another drink and another drink and another drink. They go meet another lady, another guy to make them like Band-Aids over this fear that they have that they're not meeting up at home, right? So all of a sudden, what does that do? It just compounds the disconnection, and it compounds that that you're not safe, and the internet will tell you whatever you want to know. So if you're scared about something, it will magnify that fear, right? And it just goes on and on and on, right? Yes. So what are some ways you can create as safe a home as possible, at the same time not becoming a doormat? So what you're looking to do is not fix him. You're looking to create safety, create peace, right? And then he may say, I think I want to talk about this now. Okay. So what does that look like? Sitting down with him and saying, hey, you know what? I've been driving you crazy about this whole thing. I know you're struggling. I'm not going to bother you with it anymore. I trust that you love me enough that when you're ready to talk, I'm here, and I'll go to the ends of the earth for you. In the meantime, what are some things around here that I could do to help make this a more peaceful home for you to come to? What are some things around here I can do to not tell you, not hassle you, not fix you, but to let you feel that you're loved around here? And, Monica, this is critical, because this is the moment when people become codependent, they become doormats. And you've got to go do the work on you. What does that mean? That means you have to go talk to a professional because you're married to somebody who is not doing well. And at some point, they're choosing to not do well, right? Because there is healing if you wanted to go down that road. And right now, he's not choosing that road. He's not choosing you, but he's not choosing to get well, right? And you're still going to invite him to the concert and he just ignores you or says, I'm not going. That's when you say, cool, I'm taking Susan and we're going. Because at some point, you've got to begin to do the things that make you feel well, make you connected. You choosing to disconnect from your world because he doesn't want you to ends up making everybody sick. It drowns the whole house. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So go to church even if he won't go. Go to the concert even if he doesn't want to go. Be the change you want to see in your home, right? Grab books and read about this stuff. If he does go see a counselor, ask, hey, can I come with you? And if he says absolutely not, say, cool, I'm going to go to my appointment. Why do you need to go to counseling? You don't need to go. You're fine. Well, I live with someone who's struggling, and so I have to learn about me, right? That's when you are doing these things. You are making sure that you are whole and well, right? And then the next part of this whole conversation is him. And so this is me talking to anybody who feels like their only friend is their cell phone. The only safe place is on a couch or under your covers. Please don't choose that life. And I am intentional about that language. I know there are days people cannot get out of bed. They can look at someone who cares about them and say, help, please. they can make that call. Even if it's an online therapist, they can make that phone call. Folks who are struggling, and I've been crippled with anxiety to where I could hardly move. There was a lot of lifestyle choices I ended up having to make. There are relationships I had to reach out to that were super uncomfortable, super awkward, super weird. There are seasons when I've been in, I didn't want to get out of bed. I didn't want to do, and you get up out of bed. Or you reach out and you call someone and say, hey, I'm struggling getting up. I need some help, right? And so there is a responsibility there. Even when you think you can't do it, there is a responsibility to open your eyes and say, help me. Or put both feet on the floor and take one step. And then take one more step. If you're so anxious and spun out, make that phone call and go see somebody and say, help, please. Please help. And I want everyone listening to know there is light on the other side of that tunnel. There is. And it's often... sometimes the avenue to that help is sitting there right in your house, like Monica here, right? So Monica, if we had to step back and say, what is the heightened point of tension? What are the points that are just kind of rattling your marriage right now? What would they be?
Well, it's lack of communication is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
Lack of help around the house as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm working 2 jobs now because we're following the Dave Ramsey plan, and I'll put dogs need to be fed and trash needs taken out on our dry erase board at home. As hey, these kind of need done. Could you help me out? Kind of that message I'm going for, and I'll put a little love you, kisses type little sign off on it to let him know that I love him. And if I come home and he's sitting on the couch on his phone, not paying attention to our 2-year-old, I'll kind of be like, hey, did you at least get anything done? He's like, no.
Yeah.
And then I get irritated. I've been trying not to lash out at him, or as soon as I walk through the door and I see him, I've been trying not to be like, hey, did you get all this done? I'm trying to work on myself and say, hey, how was your day? And then work those questions in.
Are you, when's the last time y'all went on a date?
It has been a hot minute.
When's the last time y'all had, or anything other than perfunctory, like duty, like intimate?
Well, intimacy is a few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
He also uses sex as a coping mechanism,
mm-hmm.
and so there's a lot of taking on his part on that,
mm-hmm.
but not a lot of giving for me.
Yeah.
So I feel a little bit used in that area. So I don't really.
Monica, not a little bit. You feel a lot used. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Right. And then it starts the big cycle, because absolutely you're not a jungle gym and you're not his blankie. And at the same time, his challenges are craving connection, and he doesn't know how to do that verbally. He doesn't know how to do that respectfully. And that's the one connective outlet he's got, right?
Yes.
So I'm going to be as honest as I can with you. Your marriage is in a lot of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Am I fair?
Yes.
Okay. I think it's fair for him to know that, because I know he feels that. I know you feel that. It's full of your house. It feels like you are more his mom right now than his wife. You are more his caretaker than his lover.
Yes.
Right? And that's a dangerous dance to get into, because it's really hard to get out of that, right? Because nobody wants to hook up with their mom, and nobody wants to be romantic with their son, right?
Right.
And, or if that's a gross analogy for you, nobody, not for you, but for the listener, nobody wants to, I won't even go down that road. So y'all are in a dangerous dance. It's a cycle, and it'll spin faster and faster and faster. And it has been over the last 5 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So at some point, someone's got to turn the lights on, turn the music off, and say, I'm done with this dance. Because here's the thing, most people don't stop the dance because they're worried about what's going to happen. And what I'm going to tell you is what's going to happen is going to happen anyway. This marriage ends up in ashes anyway, and you just lose a lot of years of your life. So somebody's got to flip the lights on and say, whoa, what's going on here? I need everybody to go get into a marriage counselor's office tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to live in a desire-free marriage any longer. I deserve more than that. You deserve more than that. I'm not going to watch the man that I love just wilt away in the floor of our living room with a cell phone. I'm not, girl or boy, little girl?
Little boy.
I'm not going to let my son grow up thinking that this is what partnership looks like, that this is what marriage looks like, that this is what fatherhood looks like. I refuse. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
How close are you to calling it?
I have been within a hair's length before, and we'll have our good days, and then something bad will trigger it, and he'll make me mad, and I'll just start thinking of all the past stuff that he's done, how it's all piled up, and then I'll be like, okay, well, next time is the last time that I'm doing this. So I'm done. And then he'll be really sweet and be like, we're fine. We're perfectly fine until the cycle starts again.
Monica, you are teetering over the edge of resentment. And you know what I think about resentment?
Yes.
You are real close.
Ooh, I have been on the edge of resentment with him before. Okay. It was so hard to come back from that.
So listen, here's where you're at. Choose the right time, the right moment. Do not do it in a fight. Do not do it on the heels of a disagreement or when he forgot to take out the trash or that's when he chose not to take out the trash, right?
Right.
Set it up a moment, set up a breakfast, set up a lunch, get some childcare and say, hey, we got to have this conversation now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worth this. You're worth this. We are worth this. Our baby is worth this. Everybody involved's life is worth more than what y'all are giving it, right? You need to be married to somebody who cherishes the ground you walk on, who desires you, who goes to war for you, who laughs with you, who you don't have to write chores on a whiteboard for, right? And he deserves to have a wife that is all in, that can't wait to get home. Man, oh man. If you are out there, I'm looking at you. If you are out there and you're struggling with anxiety, you're struggling with depression, call somebody today. Do not drown on your own. Don't. You can make the call. You may not be able to get out of bed. You can make that call. If you are somebody whose cell phone is more important to you than your wife, put it away. If you're somebody whose cell phone is more important than your kids, throw it off your roof. Throw it off your roof. Your kids aren't worth your cell phone. Your husband's not worth your cell phone. They're not. If you are teetering on the edge of resentment, stop the dance. If you are spinning out of control, stop the dance. Somebody turn off the music. Somebody turn on the lights and say, I'm worth more than this. You're worth more than this. Let's stop and figure this out. And if one of them says, well, screw you, I'm out of here. Listen, they're out of there anyway. They were out of there anyway. I hate that for you, Monica. My heart's broken for you. Turn the lights on, man. Turn off the music and let's have that conversation. Write me back. Let me know how that goes. And we'll let the listeners know how that conversation goes. It's going to be a hard one and it may not go great. You're going to have an or what plan. If he says, well, screw you, I'm not doing anything, you're going to have an or what plan. I know that you already have one, actually. I know you do.